What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Sports Talk on Tap video. We're here. You can find daily videos weekly about the NFL. Back again with Colin for another week of our game picks and recap. Another exciting week three, wild week three, really, to be honest with you. But for anyone who's been keeping track, we've been, keeping to our prediction, and Colin, each week we have ended in a tie, and that trend has continued through 3 weeks. So neither of us has gained any separation through the first 3 weeks of picking. So I think that's a sign, considering some weeks have gone different directions. Just there's been a lot of upsets that we just don't pick or don't know, or ones we've been right about, or just it's been very weird. It's been the NFL's kind of been a lot of upsets that you just can't see coming, and then some are just blowouts. But
very random.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Very random. It's been kind of hard. Maybe week 4 we get back to some more steadiness, or maybe it's just more randomness. With that being said, tonight obviously we got the Cowboys Giants, and Colin, when you look at last week, we both picked Ravens over the Cowboys, and that pick ended up being right. Kind of a close call at the end there with the Ravens. Cowboys racked up some late points, gone onside kick recovery, but the Ravens ultimately hung on to win that one. And then the Giants, they surprisingly beat the Browns. We both picked the Browns, but that Daniel Jones, Malik Neighbors connection has been really nice so far, and pretty much, at least New York has their new Odell Beckham Jr., just, an exciting weapon there. So it should be a good one. Maybe in the Meadowlands, both 1 and 2 teams both need a win. But for me, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think the Cowboys are just still the more talented team. And Dak has had the Giants number throughout his whole career, basically. I think I saw a stat, he's 16-2. So
I think that's valid. Yeah. If you're picking the Giants there, good luck to you, because that's just kind of a weird pick. It's one of those games where are you really going to pick the Giants there? If they pull one out, that would be pretty crazy, but I'd say it's about 90% chance the Cowboys win this one.
Yeah, no, and hopefully they do too. But you never know with these divisional games, so maybe for the Giants, Malik Neighbors goes for 150, 2 touchdowns, and they pull it out. Or Devin Singletary runs all over this Cowboys defense. That is not good. But, all right, so we both start off similar with there. And then we go into what should be an exciting but weird game. Colin, we both picked the Saints over the Eagles, but the Eagles, even throughout the injuries, found a way to win ugly. 15-12, I believe the score was, late game-winning drive, where on the Buccaneers side, that was one of my pretty much locks of the weeks. A lot of people had Tampa Bay beating the Denver Broncos, but Denver spanked them around 26-7. Very weird.
That was your lock.
Yeah.
You said I'll lock this.
We'll come back to the lock of the weeks. But, for most people, it was their lock. And Denver didn't win the game. Tampa Bay was 2-0. But they could not fire on all cylinders. And in this game, the Eagles are decimated with injuries. Still no A.J. Brown. The offensive line is kind of banged up. I don't believe Devontae Smith is playing in this one. He came out of the game. But you know what? Saquon Barkley, I trust the defense has been playing a lot better of late these last couple of weeks. As long as Jalen Hurts doesn't turn the ball over 3-4 times, I think the Eagles can win this. I do expect the Buccaneers to play better than what they showed against the Broncos, because they really aren't that bad. They're still a solid team. But I still think, the Eagles, I'm just going to pick them. It's a gut feeling. I think the Eagles will take this one on the road.
Yeah, over the Buccaneers. They are looking a little better. They had their weird couple weeks, just kind of looking shaky. I know that, like you said, the injuries, stuff like that. But honestly, I'd be surprised if the Buccaneers came out with one here. The Eagles are just kind of looking like, even with the injuries, they're looking like a better team, in my opinion. Probably going to go with the Eagles here, just based off what I'm seeing.
All right, so we both start off 2-0. Can't complain about that. Eagles, it should be a good one. But we're both riding them, even though they're both injury prone. Next game, being an exciting one, NFC South Division. Saints, like we talked about the Eagles, it was an ugly game. The offense could not basically do anything wrong the first 2 games. They scored on their first 15 possessions, but last week kind of fell back to earth, only 12 points. They got dominated. Eagles, I think it was over 200 plus yards on them, Colin, and it was just an ugly game. The running game, Alvin Kamara couldn't do much compared to his first 2 weeks, whereas the Falcons, it was a great game against the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, a game where the pass interference isn't called in the end zone, where the Chiefs, get another one of those close calls. But for me,
close call. The ref bailed them out.
Yeah. But for me in this one, it's a different matchup. I think these 2 teams are going to split because I think they're around the same talent level. But I'm going to ride with the home team here. I think Atlanta bounces back and gets a good one. They've been in a lot of close games. And I think, they have the talent to keep up with a team like the Chiefs. I think they'll, be able to pull one out here.
I think that's fair. I mean, Atlanta is one of those teams that you've kind of been seeing. And I believe we talked about this at the beginning a little bit before the season. Like they're probably going to be one of those teams that develops over and over as it goes. And that's all I've really been seeing out of them. Chiefs game, typical BS, with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do about it when the refs are on their side. So, I think the Falcons are the better team here than the Saints. Probably will be a good game, though, just because of how good the Saints have been playing. But I'm going to give the edge here to the Falcons, who are just getting better every week.
That is, yep. All right, 3 for 3. I thought that one might be a split because, you never know who you pick. But yes, 3 for 3 so far. And then Colin, the next game, the Vikings, Packers. You went on your rant last week about how your lock of the week was the Texans over the Vikings. I think your prediction was 36-9. You went out. You're on mute, by the way. I know you're trying to talk, but you went out of your way to, ramble on the Vikings, but unfortunately, it just didn't work for you. And the Vikings pretty much mercy ruled the Texans out of this game. The Texans didn't belong on the field with them. It was that simple. And I think the Vikings, they dominated. Sam Darnold, 4 touchdown passes. It was just a great all-around team effort. I know if you're trying to talk, your mic's still muted, so I can't hear you. But
I will say,
great.
Is that I was letting you talk, by the way. I was just trying to find the
word. I thought I heard you trying to move. But yeah, thank you.
What I will say is I wasn't aware that Joe Mixon was out. So
the way you were talking, it didn't.
If I had known that,
Joe Mixon changes a 36-9 game to a 34-7 Vikings win.
I think he keeps it in. He keeps them in the game. Absolutely. I think it would have been a completely different game if Joe Mixon had played.
But you think the Texans, Joe Mixon, they win 36-9?
I think, it would have been flipped. The score would have been flipped.
That's just stupidity at that point. I can't help you with that one. CJ Stroud,
Joe Mixon,
he was crying on the sidelines.
I didn't know Joe Mixon wasn't going to play, so if I had known that, I wouldn't have, made the predictions that I did. So in the future, I'll just be sure to look out for stuff like that. However, if Joe Mixon played,
we didn't have Jordan Addison. What would your score prediction have been if Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson were playing for the Vikings?
And Joe Mixon?
Yeah. If both teams fully healthy.
Full healthy. I'm probably going to go Houston 45, and Minnesota gets 14.
Yeah, you see, so I know you're just trying to. I can't even take you seriously after what that massacre was on Sunday. It was fun though to watch, just what the Vikings have been doing. Sam Darnold looking electric, and then Jordan Addison actually should be back for this game. And then obviously for the Packers, a nice win against, I believe it was the Titans and Will Levis, where the Titans are just kind of a huge mess. But credit to the Packers for winning with Malik Willis. This should be a good one. Division wouldn't surprise me if these two teams split, and Green Bay might win because they're at home. I'm just not sure how healthy Jordan Love is because
do we have a Jordan Love update?
Yeah, he's, I would say, probably 75% chance to play. He's still limited in practice, but my biggest concern is, this injury is supposed to be 4 to 6 weeks. So I get why they're kind of rushing him back for this game because it is a very vision game. But how healthy is he? This Brian Flores defense leads the league in sacks. So, can they get the pressure on him? We'll see what happens. I don't blame people who take the Packers. I think it's going to be a great game. But, with the way Vikings been playing, 2 wins over the Niners and a beat down on the Texans, I can't pick against them right now. So I'm riding with the Vikings.
Yeah, for this one, Jordan Addison coming back. He's not a difference maker for me at all. Honestly, one of the most overrated receivers probably in the league right now. Had an okay year last year. Huh?
Where'd he go to school? Because I feel like
where did Jordan Addison go to school?
Yeah.
USC.
All right. How many yards did he have last year?
Like I said, overrated. Don't care.
1,000 plus, 10 plus touchdowns with some backup quarterbacks. Very underrated receiver, if you ask me.
You had me on the college one too, didn't you?
Well, he actually went to Pitt first. I thought you would have known that. That's real ball knowers know he went to Pitt first, where he won his Biletnikoff. Best
real
receiver.
Ball knowers don't follow Jordan Addison's stats because he's mid.
That's what you think.
Where did Jordan Love go to school?
Utah State. But why would I care about Jordan Love?
All right. Well, anyways, yeah, like I said, Jordan Addison, difference maker, probably not. Hawkinson too, kind of just had a couple of good years. He's all right.
He's only 26, so a couple of good years is pretty good.
Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go with the Packers here. Just a lot more grit over on that side of the ball. I think that I think it'll be a good game, but maybe not a blowout this time. But I think the Packers will come away with a good one here.
Okay. Next game, Rams versus Bears. Rams, they pulled it off against the Niners. Crazy comeback. The Bears got some offense cooking late. Lost a close game to the Colts. And, I thought overall it was this should be a good one. But, I'm not going to see the Rams magic going to continue. I think the Bears at home with that defense, they're going to find a way to get this one. So give me the Bears.
Bro, what?
What do you have?
I've got the Rams. You got the Bears?
Yeah. Bears at home, both 1-2 teams. The offense for the Bears looked better last week. I think getting Roschon Johnson in full-time minutes at running back instead of DeAndre Swift, I think will be a huge boost to the running game. I think that's what they need in this offense because you don't want Caleb Williams throwing it 50 times. And either way, the Rams, while it was a great win, were very fortunate to come back against the Niners last week. They should really be 0-3, but, credit to them, they're 1-2. But the Bears, I think the defense is going to stifle Matthew Stafford, especially without no Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. So give me the the Bears to win this one.
Okay.
Then that moves into the next game. So the last 2 games, we are off on. So
yeah, even a weakened Rams team, I think, is better than the Bears right now. You're never going to catch me betting on Caleb Williams.
Yeah, that's fair. If you believe that. Next game though, Bengals 0-3. Ugly loss. Lost my parlay or my lock of the week in the survivor pool when they lost to the Commanders.
You're not going to call it 0-2-1?
Nah.
After the Chiefs nonsense,
it was pass interference at the end of the day. I think the Chiefs, you got to call that on the Falcons one because Kyle Pitts was interfered with. But at the end of the day, it was just a stupid play on the Bengals. Is it unfortunate? Yeah, it is. But, at the end of the day, as a player, can't jump and, grab the receiver before the ball. So, and
only unless you're the Chiefs. Unless you're the Chiefs and you're about to lose.
No, I agree. There might be something up. There definitely is, fishy stuff. But either way, you can't lose to the Commanders after the way you played against the Chiefs.
Jaden Daniels is looking good, though.
Yeah, at home. And then it doesn't get any easier because the way Andy Dalton looked last week, the Panthers.
I tried to tell you, did I not? We can run that clip back. I said that too.
You picked the Raiders still, though. So,
I know, but I said I wouldn't be surprised if Andy
no,
Dalton.
I knew the offense would be more competent. Did anyone expect 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, like a perfect passer rating? I don't know if anyone expected that. But, the Panthers looked revitalized. Deontay Johnson had 100+ yards. And the offense kind of clicking on all cylinders. I think that offense will actually put up some points on this atrocious Bengals defense that Jane Daniels lit up. But, at the end of the day, the Bengals, they can't start 0-4. There's just no way. And if they do, then someone's getting traded, whether it be T. Higgins, someone's on the move. Obviously not Joe Burrow.
Burrow out here looking like Ellen DeGeneres before a game.
Yeah.
With
so, questionable pregame fits. But, at the end of the day, the Bengals, this is kind of just, if they want to have any hope of making the playoffs, they have to win this. So, I'll take the Bengals, but I do think it will be a very exciting game, just given what Andy Dalton can do.
Yeah, the fact that it's going to be an exciting game is kind of scary for Bengals fans. I would hate to be a Bengals fan right now. I'm sorry, guys. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the Bengals, but they're not looking good this season at all.
Okay.
I don't like Joe Burrow at all either. He's honestly like, it makes me question had he had a different LSU squad, would he have been drafted as high as he was?
Yeah, I mean, that LSU team was stacked.
It's literally the all NFL team in college.
Yeah, it's arguably, people talk about that team as the greatest team of all time in college football. So, given what that offense was and how they've all produced really high levels at the NFL. So, yeah. But, this is, the offense did look better. Him and Jamar Chase finally got on the same page last week. So maybe that can carry over and they'll sneak out. So you said you're going Bengals?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're back on track agreeing. And then the next game, an AFC South game, the Jaguars versus Texans.
You had a Jaguars stinker last week.
Yeah.
Right?
Thought it was the upset and they got embarrassed. And
bet against Josh Allen, my friend.
Yeah, until it comes playoffs. And then the Texans also just got embarrassed. But the Texans, I think, still have high expectations. They're still the clear favorite for me to win this division. They're back at home. Even then, though, I think this will be a get-right game for the offense because, as much names as the Texans have, putting up 19 against the Bears. I know they won that game, but 19 points, isn't that much. And then obviously 7 last week. This Texans offense needs to get it going. I think they will. The Jaguars is the perfect test for that. Doug Peterson might get fired after if they lose this game, just because the team had high expectations and they've just started 0-3, blowing that first week 1 game of the Dolphins. Give me the Texans to win in a bounce back game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Jaguars just look terrible. Terrible. Trevor Lawrence, terrible, overrated.
Yeah,
I'm going for the Texans here. Never betting on the Jaguars, honestly. If you catch me betting on the Jaguars, the only time that's happening is if they're playing like either the Vikings or like the Panthers.
Next game, Broncos versus Jets. I think this game, the Broncos obviously surprised us last week. The Jets dominated the Patriots in the game. You had the Patriots winning. This one for me, Jets, I think they're just going to keep getting better each week. The chemistry with Garrett Wilson will, continue to improve. So, at the end of the day, I think that this could be a better game just because the Broncos defense is really good and they've kept themselves in a lot of games and they obviously hold Tampa Bay to 7 points. So your defense has to be something, but I just like the Jets at home, especially Breece Hall to get it going and Brian Allen on the ground. So give me the Jets in a close one.
Fair. And even though I'm not too sold on Garrett Wilson as a receiver, I honestly just don't really see the hype behind him. Comes off pretty average to me. I just don't really see the Broncos, although they had a phenomenal week last week, absolutely crushing what you thought was a lock. they looked good, but I'm probably gonna go with the Jets still.
All right, sounds good. And then next game, Steelers Colts. Colts win an ugly one against the Bears. Anthony Richardson still didn't look that great, but the defense, to its credit, clamped the Bears' offense for the most part. So, to late in the game. But then the Steelers, on the other hand, have been playing some great football. Justin Fields arguably just had his best game of the week last week, beating the Chargers. And a game we both picked the Chargers, and the Steelers are 3-0. This is a game I'll have on upset watch just because the Steelers would be a team to, lose this game like 10-7 or something whack like that. But I'm going to ride with what the Steelers have been showing me more, and I'm going to take the Steelers to win a close one. It's still going to be a defensive battle. That's how Pittsburgh likes to play it, but I like this defense, and I'm going to, continue to see improvement from Justin Fields in this offense.
Yeah, this is arguably my game of the week. Both teams that I actually have a lot of faith in terms of like their capabilities. It'll be interesting kind of seeing the Colts offense against a tougher defense than like something like the Bears. I know they kind of won like a closer one against like a lesser defense. So honestly, with the way Justin Fields has been playing as well as the Steelers defense, it's kind of hard to not bet on the Steelers here for me. Although I think it could go either way. I'm going to go with the Steelers here though.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Next game, 4:00 slate starts. I'm just going to say it 49ers for me. This is going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
All right. That's all that needs to be said. Brandon Ayuk, hopefully for my fantasy purposes, can do something. Then the next game, Commanders versus Cardinals. This is actually one of my games of the week. Obviously, the Commanders lit it up on Monday Night Football. The offense, I believe, hasn't punted 2 games because in that Giants game where they scored 21, it was 7 field goals. So, they found a way, though, Terry McLaurin last game to get it going. But then the Cardinals, on the other hand, played the Lions decently close. Marvin Harrison Jr., continues to be doing some great things after that rough week 1 game. Kyler Murray, hopefully James Conner can have a bounce back week. Maybe this is a small upset just because, the Commanders are 2-1 and they did win over the Bengals. But I'm going to take Arizona at home in a high octane offensive kind of game.
Who did you have?
I picked the Cardinals.
Okay. Yeah, kind of a toss-up. I know the Cardinals look good against better teams. They probably have a little bit better of a team as well, but for some reason, I'm picking Jaden Daniels here. I think he's going to go on a little bit of a run. I'll go with the Commanders.
I think that's a kind of 50-50 game where you can go either way. But yeah, with that being said, then that leads into Chiefs-Chargers for me. The Chiefs haven't been playing some pretty football at all, and it's a division game. So if the Chargers were fully healthy, you might consider taking the Chargers here, but Herbert's banged up. He's questionable to play. No Joe Alt, no Rashawn Slater, so their 2 best tackles are out. Joshua Palmer didn't play last week, so their wide receivers are really limited at this point. And even though the Chiefs haven't looked the greatest, Chiefs are winning this one.
Yeah, enough said, especially with injuries like that.
Yeah. Next game, Browns versus Raiders. This is going to be an ugly slugfest kind of game that I, try and keep my eyes away from. Browns losing to the Giants last week in this ugly fashion. And then the Raiders getting dismantled by Andy Dalton, the Carolina Panthers. This is kind of a gimme game. But for me, I just trust Cleveland's defense a little bit more. So I'll take the Browns in a close one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Browns here, strictly based off defense. I think it'll be a defensive battle, and the Raiders probably won't come out on top of that one.
Yeah, fair enough. So both similar on that. And then that'll leave us to our Sunday night game, where this might be game of the week. Bills versus Ravens. They stack this one. We obviously have talked about the Bills a decent amount, but even the Jaguars, the offense looked electric again. The defense has been continuing to improve, and then Josh Allen, came out and threw some subtle shots at Stephon Diggs, saying it's great when everyone doesn't care about their stats and just sharing the ball, which is
so true, though.
Yeah, and
the proof is in it, dude. It's so true.
Yeah, and James Cook, can beat you. Dalton Kincaid can have his time. Khalil Shakir has his moments. It's just kind of been Keon Coleman got his first touchdown. It's just kind of been, uh, like you said, just proof in the pudding that when you share the ball and not focus solely on one player, it can make the offense a lot more smoother. And that's what's happened so far through the first 3 weeks. And then on the Ravens side, like we said, they had an ugly loss to the Raiders. They choked 10 points. They almost choked against the Cowboys, but for a majority of that game, they were dominating, running for over 200 yards, which is what you kind of expected going into the year. And Colin, I think this will be a close game. And, I really do like the Bills. Shouldn't have bet against them last week, but I'm around with Baltimore here. I think this will just be a game where they need to win it more. I think Buffalo, it's not going to be a little slip up. I think there's just a team where at home, Baltimore, even though they won last week, you don't want to go to 1-3. I feel like they just have more, tenacity to win this game. So I'm going to take Baltimore by like a field goal, 23-20 type of game where they just inch it out.
I think this will be a tough game for Ravens fans. The Bills have just been playing on a different caliber. I don't know what it is because they literally have no good players other than maybe Josh Allen. They just look better. They've been pretty consistent. I'm finding it hard to bet against Josh Allen. It's a little bit easier for me to bet against Lamar Jackson just because he's so inconsistent at times. He'll either have a really phenomenal game or he'll just something will happen and it's just what's even going on, especially against the Chiefs last year in the playoffs. It's just what happened. I just have to go with the more consistent team. I just really like what the Bills have been doing. I think this will be a tough week for a Ravens fan.
Yeah, no, don't blame me for that. I think the way Buffalo's been playing, it's been great. When these two teams have played in the past, it's always been tough, and hopefully we get another close game, regardless of who wins. Just a nice, high-quality football game. A game that might not be so high quality. We move into our first Monday night, another doubleheader. Titans-Dolphins, and I was not going to lie. I was going to pick the Titans when I assumed Skylar Thompson was starting, but I believe it was announced that Tyler Huntley's going, and, he in the Ravens and spot starts when Lamar Jackson was injured, kept the Ravens in a lot of close games. The Dolphins, obviously, last week only scored 3 points against the Seahawks, looked very ugly with Skylar Thompson. But I am done picking the Titans. They've had a pretty soft start to the schedule where you get the Bears that play like shit. You still lose. You throw the game away against the Jets, and then last week, playing a Malik Willis-led Green Bay Packers team, and you don't even keep it close. You get smoked. I am not picking the Titans anymore. Will Levis, I think you liked him for a little bit last year, and a lot of people did because he showed some flashes. I don't know what the hell happened. He just sucks, and I'm going to go with the Dolphins to win this somehow, some way with Tyler Huntley. I mean, you see the memes on Ghetto Gronk. He's finding a new way to sell every week and just make a funny image of himself. And I'm agree. Hopefully he turns it around at some point, but I can't pick the Titans when they just sell me every week.
I like Will Levis. I hope he starts doing better. But if you put Josh Allen in any of the situations that he's in, Josh Allen is figuring it out and winning the game. It's less of a team he has excuse. It's less of I know the Titans suck. I know that they're not a good team. But at some point, there's opportunities where you could have won the game, especially against worse teams than the Dolphins, and you just didn't. I'm easily going with the Dolphins. I don't care, even if that other trash QB that they have is starting. I think the Dolphins are winning it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I know you liked Mayo Man for a little bit. Hopefully his powers can come back to him at some point. But with that being said, hopefully, I think the second game will be much more enjoyable to where we'll have our eyes glued. The Seahawks-Lions to end week 4. This game, Seahawks 3-0, Lions 2-1. Lions got back to their fundamental run the football. They ran it down the Cardinals' throats last week. And while I like Seattle, I think they're good. They're obviously still 3-0. You beat a Broncos team, Bo Nix starting week 1. It was a solid win, but they didn't play their best football. You squeaked one out against New England. New England's defense is okay, or good, but their offense isn't really, and you still, were in that for a while. It took overtime. And I think, I think they'll kind of keep better as it going, but I just like the Lions roster more. And I'm just going to leave it at that at home too. I think it'll be a close one, but I have the Lions winning by like a touchdown.
Yeah, this will be the week. I think it'll be the Lions here. I think they're just a better team. Seahawks are like one of the more painfully average teams in the league. Not that they're bad or anything. They're just kind of like, you're never going to be like if they're up against the below average team, you're probably going to pick them. But if they're up against anybody that has any potential to even remotely make the playoffs, you're picking them over the Seahawks.
Yeah, that's might be fair. I do think Seattle might be a little bit better. Maybe they're slightly above average, but yeah, I'm kind of in the same group as you. They haven't proven to me anything that they can be, that super high team that has Super Bowl aspirations quite yet. But who knows if they win this game 4-0, then maybe we can start having those kind of debates.
Yeah, the Seahawks are definitely beating like a mid to below average team, but like anything above that, any team that has any potential, I really don't see them winning.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And then so that will round out our week 4 game picks. We have 3 different. So this will be the first week where someone will have a lead. But Packers versus Vikings, NFC North game, Bears versus Rams, and then Cardinals versus Commanders are 3 different games. So those should be fun. I'll be excited to, see who comes out on top entering week 5. But let us know in the comments what you guys think. Were there teams we disrespected or whose picks you agree with more in those games we couldn't decide on? They should be really fun. Now, an iconic moment this week, rant about, the Packers being the Vikings by a lot. So hopefully, you got served a little bit of humble pie last week. I'll just leave it at that.
Joe Mixon, if I had known, it would have been different. So.
Yeah, a huge difference. But with that being said, should be a fun week. See what upsets happen if we continue that trend, or if we kind of bounce back on track, and get the games we pick right, hopefully for once. But with that being said, as always, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.